Hello, I'm Ryan Haslam with your SCV Newsbreak for Monday, November 25th. A suspected gang member is in custody tonight after allegedly vandalizing a Canyon Country church Friday. 23-year-old Isidro Tranquilino of Canyon Country is being held on $50,000 bail and is due to appear in court Tuesday. He was arrested around midnight Friday after a resident reported suspicious behavior at the North Oaks Church of Christ on Whites Canyon Road. The responding deputy reportedly found the suspect along with 2 cans of spray paint that matched the green and black paint on the church walls. Paint was also found on his sweatshirt. Tranquilino faces a felony charge because the damage is expected to cost more than $400 to repair. Well, more than $100,000 was raised for the SCV Boys and Girls Club this weekend at the 11th annual Magic of the Lights Gala. Elaborate Christmas trees and gingerbread houses were auctioned off to generous bidders. Boys and Girls Club Chief Professional Officer Jim Ventra says the Festival of Trees is important to keeping the doors of the club open. This year's event featured more than 90 decorated Christmas trees and 100 gingerbread houses. Coming up after the break, financial troubles continue for the U.S. Postal Service. That and more after this.
SCV Newsbreak is brought to you by Action Family Counseling.
My relationships were affected by my addiction in ways that are almost hard to describe. I lost that trust and that sense of intimacy that you have with your family.
Everyone says that, oh, it's just a plant, like you can't get addicted to it, but like really, it is addictive. If you're doing it all day, like every day, it's just like, that's all your life consists of is smoking weed, like, then it's addictive.
Think your son is, you'll never know, because it is hard to hide, but if you try hard enough, you can conceal it. There's no face to addiction. Like, your next door neighbor could be an addict and you have no idea.
People we deal with are great people. They're just making bad choices. So if we can help people make better choices, everybody wins.
And I love you very, very much.
Last week we had the first rain of the season, but it was only a drop in the bucket in the face of California's ongoing drought. 2013 is our state's driest year on record. Because of this, the Castaic Lake Water Agency, among 28 other agencies, was only allocated 5% of the water they contracted for with the Department of Water Resources. The preliminary allocation could go up depending on rainfall this winter. If not, CLWA would have to take water from storage to make up the difference. In 2010, the allocation went up from 5% to 50%, but the final amount to be released in April or May of next year depends on many variables. Castaic Lake Water Agency General Manager Dan Mesnada says the best way to conserve water is to reduce irrigation during cooler months. Well, 5 months after it was expected to be finalized, the proposed buyout of Berry Petroleum Co is all set to move forward. Berry Petroleum owns the Placerita oil field off Sierra Highway in Newhall, along with larger oil and gas properties in Kern County, Colorado, Utah, and West Texas. Shareholders will vote to approve the deal with the top 15 U.S. oil and gas producer Linn Energy next month. The merger was stuck on hold while the Securities and Exchange Commission investigated Linn's hedging practices. Well, financial troubles for the U.S. Postal Service. The agency reported a $5 billion net loss for the 2013 fiscal year. It's the 7th year in a row they've been in the red. According to the New York Times, the loss is an improvement over the last year when the agency reported a record nearly $16 billion loss. Mail volume and revenue are continuing to decline as Americans are increasingly using electronic forms of communication. Well, it's a first for postseason high school football in Santa Clarita. Here with more in sports is Dave Caldwell.
Thanks, Ryan. High school football history will be made Friday with not one but 2 different stories. First, how about those Foothill League football teams? Valencia, Hart, and Saugus all making it to the semifinals of the CIF Southern Section Northern Division playoffs. And while that is not a first, the fact that both semifinal games will be played in Santa Clarita is a first. And how about those Saugus Centurions getting to the semis after shutting out Miracosta Friday night? It's the first shutout the Centurions defense has put up since October 5th, 2007, when Saugus blanked St. Francis 33-0. And it's the first time Saugus has been in the semifinals since 2008, when the Desi Rodriguez-led Centurions lost to St. Bonaventure 35-8. Hart got 278 yards rushing from Connor Wingenroth 1 week after he set the all-time single-game rushing mark of 285 yards in their big win over the number 1 seeded Palos Verdes Sea Kings. Brady White threw 4 touchdowns in the game for the Indians as well. And the Foothill League champion Vikings got 272 yards passing and 3 touchdowns from quarterback Jake Wallace and another 112 yards on the ground from Stone Jackson in their road win over the Eagles. Valencia was able to overcome 5 turnovers in the game to get the win. So it sets up the All-Santa Clarita semifinal round as the Saugus Centurions will be the home team against the Valencia Vikings, a game that will be played at Canyon High School once again, as the Hart Indians will be hosting West Torrance, the team that knocked Canyon out of the first round and then defeated Palmdale 17-14 to get to this game Friday. All games are scheduled to begin at 7 o'clock. Call it third time's a charm if you want, but the Trinity Classical Academy Knights are going to the championship game for the first time in their history of 8-man Division II football with an 18-point win over Desert Chapel. Colton Oshiro passed for 258 yards and 5 touchdowns for the Knights, with Patch Culp getting his second consecutive 100-yard game. This was the 3rd year in a row the Knights have played in the semifinals, losing last year to Joshua Springs. So guess who the Knights will play for the championship? Who else but the Lightning? Trinity is number 1 in the state, Joshua Springs number 2. The game will be played in Santa Clarita, but it has not yet been determined just where. Ryan, that's our look at sports.
All right, thanks, Dave. Turning to weather, 72 degrees and clear skies across Santa Clarita Monday. More sunshine is in store Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday night, we could see some rain in the SCV. Showers are likely Thanksgiving Thursday and on Black Friday, when daytime highs are expected to dip into the low 60s. That's all we have for you tonight. For more Santa Clarita news, log on to hometownstation.com or scvnews.com. Thank you for watching. I'm Ryan Haskell.
SCV Newsbreak is brought to you by Action Family Counseling.